Hi, it's Jenny and I'm back with another Pilates video. For today I have for you a snippet of a Pilates mat workout. I call it the ab series with extras. So go ahead and roll out your mat. Let's get started. So we're going to begin by coming down to your back. Pardon my extra layer, you guys. It's a little chilly in here. So I'm going to begin by contracting my abdominals, my core sitting of my deep abdominals, and also drawing in with those ribs and the upper abdominals as well as the lower abdominals. Getting everything strong and getting going. And then inhale and try to breathe three-dimensionally, that lateral ribcage breathing while you hold some of that strength and steadiness. And again, nice deep breath. And exhale to contract deeper. I'm also drawing in and up on that pelvic floor. And one more deep breath here. As I stay with that strength, I'm going to lift my legs right up to tabletop. So one leg at a time comes up while holding on to that strong, steady core. So the first exercise that we always start with is single leg stretch. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. You can have your hands holding your head, just gives the neck a little bit of support here. Deep breath in and exhale. Nod the chin and lift your head out. You can hold your head the entire time. Exhale to reach. Inhale, return. Or you can always reach forward if your neck is ready to go without support for the bent knee. Watching, of course, the height of the legs, not going so low that the back bows or arches. I'm going to do 4 more. And then lower my head back down. Now here's the extras part of this abdominal series. So that's the first one, single leg stretch. Before we move on to obliques, we're going to add in a little contraction we call rollover prep. So you can cross your ankles, open your knees, softens the hip flexors. You'll notice I have a little padding under my head. That's for my forward head posture, my tight neck muscles. So I don't want a lot of strain in my neck and shoulders as I do this. This is a very tiny lift of the hips. So trying to, again, corset those deep abdominals, but also try to start to mobilize the hips toward the ribs. So I'm motioning with my hand how you want to be zipping your abdominals up as you do this. It's not a swing of the legs, remember, but a zip. And as I said, try to keep these muscles here, the pectoralis, really soft, relaxing through the throat and neck. Exhale to curl. Think of it like curling my tail. 2 more. Zipping up. Knitting those ribs. 1 more. And then relax back down. You can hug your knees up or go right to tabletop. The second exercise of the abdominal series, going right into it, you guys, is your obliques or your crisscross. So it's same thing with the single leg reaching. And I'm going to turn my shoulders across towards the opposite knee. Inhale, center. Exhale, the other side. Starting to feel those muscles that are right on the side of the waist, right here, right between my rib cage and my pelvis. So normally we would do 8 full sets. So that means 8 each leg, so a total of 16 leg changes. I'm going to do 4 more. 4 is apparently my favorite color, my favorite number today. And then lower your head back down. Now what we're going to do before we go on with our abdominal series is, this is the second half of the extras, is really working on that head lift. You'll see that I'm holding my head, so I'm still coming back from having a baby over a year ago, but I'm finding that my abdominals are struggling to do that, to handle that load of lifting my head. So this is a good exercise for that. We're going to practice pulsing the head upward. So I start with a breath. Feel that expansion, and then exhale, pelvic floor, deep core sitting abs, rib cage knitting, head lifting. And here's really where the head lifting part comes from, is those deep abdominals are holding that pelvis steady. And then I'm trying to work on bending in the thoracic spine. So as I exhale, I curl, not from my head squeezing down, but from my back. And that happens because of the movement in my belly. And it's quite challenging to keep the neck mostly stress-free. It's working, but strain-free. And also those abdominals. You don't want that pooching belly, so think about those low, deep abdominals. Just two more. And that height thing is really helpful throughout the abdominal series. So the next one is double leg stretch. Get ready, so take a breath. As always, start with that deep contraction and then lift your legs with support. Lift your head if you want. Think about that same little head nod and then contraction through those ribs. Lifting that up. Sometimes I find scrunching around helps. Exhale as you reach forward. Inhale to bend. You'll notice I'm going again to a kind of conservative angle with my legs. Again, I'm still working on building back some strength in my core, but you can go as low as you can hold steady. Don't want any gapping with that lower back. And you can add arms if your neck can hold your head up. And your abdominals, of course. So it's an exhale to reach, an inhale to swim the arms around, and reach for the last one, and bring it down. And then just rock it out side to side. So if you feel any strain, the low back, even the mid back in that one, you know that maybe you need to adjust the height of your legs or holding your head up or down, right? You can always drop your head down. It's always an option. So we go back to our extras. Lift your legs. If you can remember which ankle you had crossed in front, do the other one. Just helps with hip flexor tightness, one-sided tightness. And we're going to add what we did, that curl, to the upper body curl. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, nod your chin, lift your head, neck, and shoulders up. And here we go, little teeny curl. I'm pulsing my abs in and zipping my pelvis up towards my ribs. 4 more here. I'm going to cross my ankles the other way. 4. And 3. And 2. And 1. And come on back down. Good, so that's about 8 to 10 in between every one we do. Next one we do, scissors. Stretch those legs on up and get ready for scissors again, using hand support, keeping your head down. If your lower back needs more support here, guys, remember to use your hands under your tailbone. Remember, that's not under the small of your back, which will cause you to arch more, loosening the abdominals more, right? We want those abs to be supported and engaged, so hands lower is better. For that, scissoring, lifting your head, neck, and shoulders up. You should always do that on an exhale. And then you can flex your feet if you want to enhance the stretching aspect. You exhale, pulse twice. Inhale, lift. And inhale. You can also point your feet. Or point and flex, like I'm apparently doing. You can also hold the leg. Remember, the pulsing is your abs. It's less a yanking of your head up. One more time. And more a contraction of the belly. We return to our extras. Our extras this time is a set where we work on alternately lifting the hips and the head, right? So you're working on both that deep contraction and mobilization. So you lift your head, neck, and shoulders initially. And we'll do 4 hip pulses, trying to keep the head steady and lifted in ab prep. Now, Hold your hips where they are and curl from the core. I'm thinking about knitting. Actively pulling my ribs down while my belly stays lifted. Good, now do them both together. Hips to ribs. And lastly, isometric hold, 2 breaths. I like to increase it as I exhale. And slowly let it go. Rock it from side to side. The last exercise of the abdominal series, number 5, is the hardest one in my honest opinion. It's really, really, really difficult. So I'm going to offer the modification, and you feel free to stay with it throughout, or go ahead and join me in the reach, the more difficult version. So full lower and lift is done with straight legs, but we're going to start out with a tabletop lower and lift. Remember, this is like a toe tap that many of you have done in my classes before, if you've been in my classes. It's not an effort to put your toes down, right? It doesn't involve any abdominal work at all. That's my knee joint hinging, right? So this is instead holding that tabletop positioning of the leg, the knee joint, and then lowering from the hip joint. So what that does is, again, challenges my low back stability, my hip stability. So it is lower and lift, but it's a shorter lever arm, bent knees versus straight. And we do these with the head down. In order to focus purely on that stability work, right? As soon as we lift our head, it's possible for that rectus abdominis, or that more, superficial there to take over. Now go ahead into straight legs if you want. And inhale up. And exhale down. And inhale, lift it. I'm trying to focus on this area, staying strong and steady. One more here. And lift it up. Bring those knees in and rock side to side. Good, you guys. Bring it on up. And that's it for today. That's ab series with extras. Thanks so much.